Want convenient banking features like mobile check deposit? Whitney Bank's mobile app has you covered. Start by opening your checking account online at HancockWhitney.com. Then download the app to bank anytime, anywhere. Member FDIC.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Business First Bank, with locations throughout the state, including 11 offices in the Baton Rouge area, providing personal and commercial banking, treasury management, and wealth solution services to help clients succeed. Business First Bank, banking with greater momentum.
From Mansurs on the Boulevard in Baton Rouge, we're out to lunch with editor of the Baton Rouge Business Report, Stephanie Regal. It's business, Baton Rouge style.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Regal. Welcome to Out to Lunch. Being a mid-sized city in the Deep South, you don't necessarily think of Baton Rouge as being a center for the performing arts. But there's a lot of hidden talent in this town doing really impressive things on the stage and at local birthday parties. Is there a market to support them? And how do they turn their talent into a commodity? Jenny Ballard is the managing artistic director of Theater Baton Rouge. She began her career in Tennessee and came to Baton Rouge after several years in local theater there to pursue a master's degree in fine arts. After completing the program, she joined Theater Baton Rouge in 2014, and in the years since has helped lead the company through many successful productions, a huge capital campaign, and efforts to grow the company's volunteer base and education programs. Jenny, y'all do such a great work, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Venessa Lewis is also in the performing arts arena, though not on stage. Rather, she's more likely to show up at a kiddie birthday party or perhaps swimming with the sharks in Mexico, dressed up as the Louisiana Mermaid, which is her alternate persona. Venessa has a custom-made mermaid costume that she wears for public appearances, where she not only entertains, but teaches young people about the oceans and marine life conservation. She also owns the Petite Princess Company, which rents out princesses for birthdays and other events. Great company, great idea. Venessa, can't wait to hear about it. Thanks for joining me today on Out to Lunch.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Well, Jenny, I want to start with you because Theater Baton Rouge is a local theater company, a local success story. Not so long ago, it was called Baton Rouge Little Theater, and then y'all rebranded and really stepped up your game. Tell us about the changes over the past couple of years.
Well, I think we've had a lot of exciting changes. Like you mentioned, in 2013, we changed our name from Baton Rouge Little Theater to Theater Baton Rouge, mostly because we just weren't so little anymore. We were doing so many productions. We do 13 productions per season now.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
We stay very busy. There's no doubt about that. We have 6 main stage shows that are part of our Capital Series. And then, of course, we have 3 City Series shows, which are sponsored by John Turner and Jerry Fisher. And that gives us a chance to do some more avant-garde, edgy theater that can push our audiences just a little bit and
or
make
like
them
the Shakespeare production that I saw last fall, I guess, with kids.
Yes,
Teenagers.
and that's part of our,
Fantastic.
I know, our Young Actors program is integral to what we do. That's really about growing the artists of tomorrow, because if we're not doing that, then where are our audiences and our artists for the future going to be?
Now, what role have you played in the changes at Theater Baton Rouge?
Well, I have a history in theater education and in working with young actors. So coming into my position in Theater at Baton Rouge, one of my goals was to really expand the education and outreach department. So we're now touring our Shakespeare shows to schools.
Okay.
We're also offering 2 school matinees for several of our child-appropriate shows. We did The Miracle Worker, 2 school matinees 2 years ago. For last year, we did Evangeline, and we had a school matinee. And of course, coming up for our future seasons, we're going to be doing matinees that are appropriate for shows like To Kill a Mockingbird. So,
how big is your company? I mean, how many local actors are there to be in all of these productions?
We have about 250 volunteers coming through our door
No
every
kidding.
season now. It's really exciting. We have all of our actors are volunteers, all of our crew members are volunteers, all of our front of house, box office, usher positions are volunteers. And so it's really amazing to have so many people who are willing to come in and offer their services for us and for the community.
For free.
For free.
They don't get paid at all.
They don't get paid at all.
And some of them are very, very talented, as Venessa is, the Louisiana Mermaid. How did this character come about, Venessa?
Yes, so it's kind of interesting. I've always been obsessed with mermaids ever since I was a child, obviously with the advent of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Also in the 80s, I don't know if you remember, I'm aging myself here, but Splash was also a huge movie.
I do remember Splash now, right.
And my husband always said that I looked like Daryl Hannah, so I had always been obsessed with mermaids ever since I was a young girl. Well, as I got older and I started hearing things about the cosplay community, and then I found a guy out in Florida that made mermaid tails. He actually made them for several celebrities. He made one for Lady Gaga.
Like really good looking ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're very realistic.
Not what you find at the costume shop.
No, absolutely not. These were 30 to 40 pound silicone tails that he creates. And like I said, he made them for several celebrities, but then he started making them for the general public. And so I told my husband, I was like, I really want one of those mermaid tails. And the first one I had was about $500. He's like, Venessa, what are you going to do with that? He's like, I'm not going to be seen in public with you. I was like, well, I'm just going to put it on and I'm going to swim. And he's like, you're going to drown. But I saved up my money and I decided to get one. I don't have a pool, so I decided to just go to my local fitness club and I put it on. And then I actually went to the water park and I swam around in it. Well, all of a sudden, of course, all of the kids just rushed to me.
Wow.
And it made a big commotion. And then within a week, I had requests from the 3 local news stations to do a story.
You are kidding.
No. So all 3 local news stations interviewed me like at the water park. And one of the stories actually got picked up by over 40 NBC affiliates nationwide. And then it jumped the ocean, went over to England, Japan. So you could say it went viral. The story went viral. Then when I started getting requests to do it publicly, water parks started hiring me. People started hiring me for birthday parties. I kind of turned it into a little side cottage industry. Yes, and then I wanted to, other than entertaining, I also wanted to use that platform to educate children because I am very passionate about the environment, about conserving the ocean and the animals that live in it. So I developed a program. It's called Tales of Tales, and it's about the creatures in the ocean. And then I also throw in a little bit of mermaid mythology as well to keep the kids interested. And I've toured the state teaching children in libraries and school systems with that program. I'm actually going to go to Jefferson Davis Parish next month and tour their library system with that class.
And how much do you charge? I mean,
for the I don't, they usually get grants. Library systems get grants.
Sure.
I actually, last year, I did it in the East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. So they pay me and I go to the different libraries. Individual schools can contact me and I can teach the class in the schools. But yeah, I call it edutainment because it's education and entertainment.
absolutely. So, I mean, that's what I love about you. Just don't think that there's so many interesting stories and so much talent here in Baton Rouge, but there really, really is. Jenny, I mean, I'm sure you see that all the time with the people who show up at your door and want to be in Shakespeare or A Christmas Carol or whatever else y'all are putting on.
Absolutely. Well, I often say that the talent in this area is unlike anything I've ever seen. It is just coming out of the woodwork. There are so many amazing actors, singers, dancers, performers in general. And I was really just thinking that I wish I had known you this time last year because we were doing The Little Mermaid.
Oh, man.
I would have loved to have had you over there.
Absolutely.
That would have been amazing. But no, we see so many unbelievably talented people. That's one of the reasons that I personally decided to stick around Baton Rouge, is I've never seen a community of amazing culture and talent like I have here. It's really exciting and it's very inspirational.
Do you partner at all with like the LSU Department of Theater, or do you even need to?
We do. I think that's a good question. I do think as a community theater there is a need for us to partner with other people. I think it's important that we are showing that we are one community and that we are not competing with each other, we're working together. We've partnered in the past with Swine Palace, we've partnered with LSU Theaters, we've partnered with a number of organizations as well as artistic nonprofits. We've partnered with the Louisiana Historical Society, with the Louisiana School for the Blind, with Our Lady of the Lake Mental Health Department for Next to Normal, all sorts of really wonderful partnerships. And we're actually planning a partnership for next season with New Venture Theater and Playmakers of Baton Rouge.
Really?
So we're really excited about that as well.
Now, when you talk about community theater, what are the definitions of that? Does that mean you're nonprofit? I mean, obviously you have to sell tickets. And
we do. We are a nonprofit.
You have to maintain facilities.
That's exactly right. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. For me, I think that community theater means different things to different people. For me, community theater means volunteer-based.
Okay.
I do not think that it means anything less than professional. I think that we need to be putting out a professional product at all times. I think we need to be challenging ourselves to be putting out the best possible productions that we can. But I think that it means that the majority of the things that we do are run by volunteers. We have a staff that we do pay. We do have contract hire, directors, choreographers, music directors that we do pay.
Okay.
But the majority of our talent base is volunteer.
That's fantastic. Now, Venessa, I didn't want to overlook, we talked mermaids, but you have an actual company that rents out princesses.
Yes.
More talent that Jenny could probably use. Maybe some
Yes,
of them
we sure could,
show up
Venessa.
in her productions.
Absolutely, yes.
So this is, I guess, your real bread and butter is renting out little princesses.
One of several. Actually, my background is in mass communications. I have been doing graphic design for the last 15 years. I actually taught it at LSU for a few years as well. And I honestly never thought I would go down this route of being a mermaid and then the owner of a princess company. It just kind of happened when I was entertaining as a mermaid at an event. I met a college student there who had a startup company. She actually founded the company, and we became fast friends. Obviously, we had the interest in entertaining children. When she graduated from LSU, though, she wanted to move back to her home state of Nevada, and I asked her. Her name was Reagan. I said, Reagan, what are you going to do with this company? It's such a great idea. It was really taken off, and she goes, I don't know. I guess I'll sell it. She's like, you want to buy it? And I said, I'm already in the business, and it's a perfect fit,
What kind of assets did she have?
And mainly
Costumes?
It was her costumes and her talent, and also her she had a social media set up already, Facebook, Instagram, so she had a built-in audience already, a very loyal customer base as well. And it had, the company.
You mean like they were repeat customers?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I guess when your child is 3, and then 4, and then when she turns 5.
Exactly, about 2 to 6 is our window generally. And like I said, she offered, and I thought about it. It didn't take me long, and within a week, I was the owner of a princess company. It's basically an hour party, and they do singing, dancing, story time. We do a coronation with a crown and a certificate for the children. But yeah, it's an hour of entertainment. That's the princess parties. We also now added, of course, mermaid parties as well. So pool parties for the summer. They swim with the kids, do pool games, bubbles, scale tattoos.
So you're not the only mermaid now.
No, in fact, this summer I have retired just to going back to me swimming for myself. I'm not doing the parties anymore. I have 2 mermaid understudies that I'm training. I have purchased 2 more silicone tails.
How much are they going for now?
The tails?
Yeah. Have the prices come down? Or they've gone up?
I bought a second tail. That tail was $2,500. The tails I've bought for my understudies are the $500 tails, though. But they're very realistic. They're silicone 3D type scales.
How do you walk in them?
You cannot walk.
You cannot.
You cannot walk. You have to put on the tail on the side of the pool and kind of just flop over into the pool.
Just like a real mermaid.
Absolutely. And we ask that the parents keep the kids away from the pool until the mermaid gets in the pool, because we don't want it to spoil the magic for the children.
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. We're talking to Venessa Lewis of the Petite Princess Company and Jenny Ballard of Theater Baton Rouge. Well, ladies, I have a silly question that might give us some insight more into your personality. So, Jenny, if you could have dinner with any legend of the stage, who would it be and why?
My gosh, that is such a hard question. Who would it be? I think I would pick someone contemporary, and I think it would be Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Just because I think she is so amazing. I've never seen her be the same actress in any of the roles that she's played. To see her go from Sophie's Choice to Mamma Mia is just stunning, and to see her do both of them so spectacularly well, I just think that she is everything that I want to be as an actor.
Did you want to be an actress?
Always. I've always wanted to be an actress ever since I was a really small child.
Well, Venessa, here's one for you. What do mermaids have over us humans? Is it better under the sea?
Yes. Well, for me personally, I love being in the water. It gives me a sense of calm. It's almost like yoga for me.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of drowns out the noise of the everyday world. It's very relaxing. So it's kind of my escape to be in the water.
How easy is it to maneuver with these $2,500 tails on? Are they easy to swim in?
It
seems like it might drown you quite honestly.
It depends on how good of a swimmer you are. I've
Okay.
always been a swimmer, you know, took swimming lessons when I was really young. And it really, I didn't have a fear of it because I wanted to do it so badly. It's kind of like I just ignored all of the risk, I guess, that could be associated with it. I personally don't find that it's that hard. It's easier for me to swim in the tail. It has a built-in scuba monofin in the tail portion.
Okay.
So it helps you propel yourself through the water pretty quickly. You know, you are constricted a bit, so if that is an issue for you, you definitely don't want to put on a mermaid tail, but it's never bothered me. I can zoom pretty fast through the water with it.
Like it really is something deep in your soul.
It is.
The mermaid thing.
That is
you
so
have to
cool.
you have to really love it, yeah. And believe it or not, this is a huge community now. When I started about 4 years ago,
of mermaids?
there is a mermaid community. And in fact, I'm one of the founders of the largest mermaid convention in the world now. It's called NC Mermania. We have it every year in January in North Carolina. And yeah, we have mermaids from all over the world that come and swim in the state-of-the-art aquatic facility in North Carolina.
And y'all hang out in the water.
We absolutely, yeah. If you
In
look
your
up
tails.
ncmermania.com, you will see video of we had about 400 mermaids last year in the huge aquatic facility, all swimming together. Like I said, we've had people come from France, from Canada. We had one from Japan one year. So yeah, it's a huge event.
See, this is fascinating. I mean, mermaids aren't real, except now they
are. We are a subsegment of the cosplay community, is what
Of
I
the
say.
what?
The cosplay community. I'm sure you've heard of cosplayers
yeah.
that go to Comic Cons and
Sure,
emulate
sure.
these different characters that they're obsessed with. But we're just obsessed specifically with mermaids.
Fascinating. So, how do we monetize this? And is there money in this cosplay sector, or is it just a hobby?
You have to be really committed to it. You know, there are mermaids that have been very successful at monetizing it. Because I feel like the market is becoming somewhat saturated now. There's a lot more competition. Like I said, when I started doing it, there weren't as many mermaids, but now it's really exploded. There's a lot of, you know, viral stories on, you know, those little buzz clickbait sort of things that highlight mermaids, and people, you know, there's lots of tail makers now where people can buy these silicone tails. But if you are really dedicated, if you have the look, if you have the personality, if you're good with kids, then yes, you can get hired often to do mermaid birthday parties, or like I have expanded it into education as well. But again, you know, you have to have the other business aspects as well as marketing. You know, you have to be able to negotiate your prices. So a lot of people get into it thinking that they're going to make a lot of money, and they don't have the business experience behind it to be able to really do that.
Does your husband like being married to a mermaid?
Oh gosh, that's been an interesting story. So, you know, he really was not excited.
Do we want to go there? Can we go here? Grant, what's the ruling?
He was not thrilled about me doing this originally. He was kind of embarrassed. He was like, I'm not going to be seen in public with you. Well, now he's become my official mertender.
Oh,
And
love it.
he comes to events with me. He helps me get into my gear, sometimes carry me out to the pool if I need him to. He's very supportive of it. When he saw the dollar signs behind it, then he's like, wow, you can actually make money doing this? Okay, I'm on board. So he has been honestly very, very supportive of the whole
Good.
thing. And like I said, I have to, you know, travel to North Carolina once a year for this convention. And but yeah, I think I really surprised him with how this took off. I personally didn't know how, you know, what this journey would lead me on. But he's kind of like, yeah, my wife's the Louisiana Mermaid. So.
Well, speaking of dollar signs, Jenny, I know a big part of what you do is fundraising, and that's very
Absolutely.
important. How is the fundraising going for Theater Baton Rouge? And I know, I mean, there was limited dollars in this market, especially for the arts.
There are, and it seems like organizations, a lot of the time, are all approaching the same people. You know, it's a really fascinating endeavor on a year-to-year basis. And this has been an especially difficult year with the flood and everything. You know, it's made everything a lot harder. I think small businesses have very much indirectly been hit just as a result. And so we've had to be very creative with our fundraising this year. I would say that our ticket sales make up about 60% of our revenue each season, and the rest come from corporate sponsors, grants, and our fundraising endeavors. That's really what makes it up. And so we have tried this season to make our fundraising more show-based and less specifically soliciting people for money.
Right.
It seemed inappropriate with everything that we've been through this season and everything that this community has been through this season. So we have tried to put on extra shows and to do fundraising efforts like the Rocky Horror Show. And we did a young actors fundraiser this past Christmas, The Gift of the Magi. We had several guest artists come in and do benefit performances for us as a fundraiser for the theater. And so that way we could at least invite people to come to these shows, help the theater out a little bit, but at least we were able to say, we are giving you this in return, rather than sending out our standard annual fund letter.
Now, when y'all redid your theater a couple of years ago, renovated it?
We haven't. We're in the process of renovating
Okay.
it. We're taking baby step renovations at this point, with the end goal of having a giant renovation in the next couple of years.
But the improvements have been substantial so far.
Substantial.
The seats, at least. That was huge.
Huge.
That was huge.
That seat
As
campaign
someone who's
was
been there many,
huge.
many times.
And Keith Dixon did a wonderful job with that
It's
seat
great.
campaign. I mean, it was really wonderful. My first year there, we did the studio seat campaign renovations, so we have new seats in the studio as well. I don't know if you ever sat in the seats from 2014 or before, but they were nightmarish.
Not in the studio, but in the big auditorium.
Yes, those
old
are
blue
wonderful.
ones. Yeah, the new
those
ones are
were
great.
terrible too. The new ones are great. Also, we renovated our social room. We have a brand new social room with new floors, new paint on the walls, and we're turning the social room into a legitimate art gallery as well, so that we can feature visual art as well as the performing arts. Also, we renovated our green room because one of the #1 complaints we were hearing from our volunteers that were involved in the shows was that they didn't have room to sit anywhere in the green room. They felt like it was old and running down.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to spruce it up and make it new and fun, and so we did that a couple of years ago, and everyone has been much happier since. We recently renovated the studio, and we're about to attack the dressing rooms. So slowly but surely, it's an old building.
And it all makes a difference, though.
It does,
definitely
and
makes a difference.
I think especially when you're working with volunteers, you want to do everything you can to keep them happy. They're putting so much out for you and for the theater that I think it's really important to do everything you can to make their experience an enjoyable one.
Yeah. Venessa, where are your princesses based? I mean, are you a virtual company, or do you have someplace where y'all all gather and you get the princesses dressed in their tiaras and their costumes?
That's a great question. We actually don't have a facility. That's kind of a long-range goal of ours. I operate out of my home. We have an extra room in my home that I store all of the dresses, all of our accessories, that sort of thing. In fact, it was my husband's man cave, so I took that over.
He did not know what he was getting into.
He really didn't
when
know
he
what he was
married
signing
you,
up for. But
that's
no,
funny.
I have 10 actresses, and they all are LSU students. And so they come out before their parties and pick up their costumes and accessories, and they're all fully made up and everything before they go out to the
Do you
party.
audition them before you hire them on?
We do offer auditions. Now, several of them, like I said, came with the company. They had already been trained, and and they've stayed with me the last year and a half when I've purchased the company. Those are my veteran princesses, and we've hired several since then. And we are really a close-knit group. I am blessed with a good group of young ladies that are really dedicated to entertaining children.
Do they rotate through characters? I mean, are they generic princesses, or you have a Belle and a Cinderella?
They are assigned to different characters. So when they're hired on, we hire on kind of based on looks and personality, obviously, and what characters we are the look we're looking for. Now, we have wigs and everything, so it's not like if we need a Belle, we need to hire a brunette because we have wigs. It's more of the facial structure and the personality and that sort of thing. But usually our actresses are assigned to 3 or 4 different characters, and we ask that they really perfect those characters by watching the movies, watching YouTube meet and greets, that sort of thing, so they learn how to do the hand gestures, the facial expressions, and that sort of thing.
So you must have like several bells right now because Belle's so popular.
We do. We have 3 different bells right now because she is extremely popular because of the live action movie that's out. But also our island princess, who is based off of Moana, obviously is huge right now as well. And
Nobody wants a Snow White anymore.
poor Snow White. No, we refer to her as the fairest princess. And she was the original princess.
She was the
kicked
first
off this whole
one,
princess thing. But you know, I just the younger children just don't connect with her as they do with the
They
Snow
need to remake that
Sisters.
1935
Absolutely.
cartoon, I think. Y'all, we're almost out of time. It's so hard to believe. That went fast. Tell me real quickly where you'd like to see yourself in 3 to 5 years. Are you still at Theater Baton Rouge?
I think so. I really love it here. Baton Rouge is very much my home. My husband and I bought a house here. That's how committed we are to this area. I think it would take a lot for me to leave this area. And I love Theater Baton Rouge. I have really found a family with that place. And I think that being part of something that feels important to the community like that on a day-to-day basis is really fulfilling to me. I'd really love to see the theater grow to more of a regional level, to where we're touring to places outside of Baton Rouge. I would like to see us hire additional staff so that we can do even more than we're doing now. I'd like to see us expand our outreach capabilities. And I would really like to see us tackle even bigger shows. I know that sounds crazy because we're taking on so many
You take
giant
on a
Broadway
lot.
shows.
You really
these
do. I don't
days.
know what else what
I
bigger
know.
you could do, but you
I
do quite a
know.
lot.
But I just want us to keep growing. It's very important to me that we're always trying something new, and that we're always offering new things to our audiences, and that we're challenging our actors in different and exciting ways. I want this to be a learning and training environment for people that take this seriously and think that they might do it professionally.
Fantastic. What about you, Venessa?
Well, I wanted to speak a bit to, you were saying about how the flood affected you. That actually has really affected us as well. So we're kind of trying to rebound from that. You know, I think a lot of people see renting a princess as more of a luxury thing, and that's just something that not a lot of people could afford in the last year. But we do see business picking up again now that there's been a lot of recovery. We're investing a lot in our marketing. And we also do a lot of outreach, so community events. We will, you know, if it's a huge community event where there'll be 500 children or more, we'll go for free and bring princesses just so we can market ourselves. You know, we did Fae Fest at Bluebonnet Swamp last week. Before that, we were at the Pirates and Princesses at the USS Kid. So if you have a huge event where you're going to attract a lot of kids and you need a princess, definitely give us a call, because we are looking to grow. And a lot of people still just don't know about us yet.
Right.
So.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad we could help tell the story. Venessa Lewis and Jenny Ballard, y'all are both beautiful, talented women bringing a lot to the creative scene in Baton Rouge and helping young people envision possibilities, too. So good luck as you continue to grow in your respective endeavors.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
My guests today on Out to Lunch have been Jenny Ballard of Theater Baton Rouge and Venessa Lewis, the Louisiana Mermaid, of the Petite Princess Company. You can find out more about Theater Baton Rouge and the Petite Princess Company by following the links on our website. It's batonrouge.la and wrkf.org. Today's show was recorded live over lunch at Mansurs on the Boulevard in Baton Rouge. Mansurs is open for lunch daily from 11 to 2, for dinner nightly, and for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. The producer of our show is Grant Morris. Our technical producer is Eric Merle. Our associate producer is Peter Raschuti. And our Baton Rouge business consultants are Charlie D'Agostino and Ann Edelman. You can see photos from this show on its batonrouge.la and on our Facebook page. These photos are taken by Ken Stewart. All the music on Out to Lunch is composed and performed by Mitchell Foreman. You can find more of Mitchell's music wherever great jazz is streamed or sold and at mitchellforeman.com. You can get this show as a podcast, you can listen to past shows, and you can keep up with us on all kinds of social media by going to our websites. It's batonrouge.la and wrkf.org. Out to Lunch is a production of INO Broadcasting for its batonrouge.la and WRKF 89.3 FM. I'm Stephanie Riegel. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the table here at Mansurs for more business Baton Rouge style on Out to Lunch.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Business First Bank, with locations throughout the state, including 11 offices in the Baton Rouge area, providing personal and commercial banking, treasury management, and wealth solution services to help clients succeed. Business First Bank, banking with greater momentum.
Want convenient banking features like mobile check deposit? Whitney Bank's mobile app has you covered. Start by opening your checking account online at HancockWhitney.com. Then download the app to bank anytime, anywhere. Member FDIC.